Hello and welcome to What's Carol Cooking. Today I'm going to be making some spinach and ricotta cannelloni. So it's vegetarian night tonight in our home, and so I thought I would do something Italian. I will give you some variations as to what you can do throughout this recipe, but it is really, I promise, quick and easy and simple to make, and obviously always delicious. So first I'm going to cook the fresh spinach, and I'm going to heat the stove and put in some olive oil. That's about a tablespoon of olive oil. We're going to let that heat, and then I'm going to add in the fresh spinach. Now you can use frozen spinach if you prefer. All you have to do then is defrost the spinach, the frozen spinach, and make sure you get rid of all the liquid out of it, otherwise it'll make the filling of the cannelloni not very nice. So this is about 300 grams of fresh spinach, and yes, it looks like a lot, but as we cook it, you'll see it will be a lot less. Let's put that in. Giving that a stir. I prefer to use fresh spinach than the frozen one, but there is absolutely no problem using the frozen. Alright, that's looking really good. So I'm just going to keep stirring, and once it's all wilted, I'm going to take it off the heat and let it cool and make the next part of the cannelloni, which is the sauce. Okay, that looks really good. Now if you want to cook it a bit more you can, but I'm going to leave it like that because I like it nice and bright and green, and I still get a sense that it's quite fresh. So that is it. We'll take it off the stove and we'll put it to the side and let it cool down. Now I'm going to make the sauce. So in a large pan, as you can see, I'm going to add some olive oil, which is about a tablespoon and a half in there, and then I've chopped one brown onion to pieces, and I've got 2 cloves of garlic that I've peeled and chopped as well. And I'm just going to give that a stir and wait for that to cook through. That will be about 2 to 3 minutes. So the onions have been cooking for about 3 minutes and they're looking really good. So now we're going to make the sauce. I'm adding 2 cans of finely chopped tomatoes. Now, of course, you can be fancy and you can use fresh tomatoes, which is usually my preference because I like to cook things from scratch, but today I don't have a lot of time, so I'm taking the easy way. So all you would do when you use the cooked fresh tomatoes, you would, the really fancy way is you'd put them into boiling water, take the skin off, chop them up, and then pop them in at this stage into your pan. I'm going to add a cup of water to this. And I'm going to add some sugar, some salt, some sugar, salt, there we go. And we're just going to let that simmer. And then once it's finished simmering, we will then add some basil, some fresh basil, which I've got over here, and that will go in later. So we'll just bring it to the boil and then let it simmer and thicken up a little bit. So while the sauce is simmering on the stove, and I'll just let you know that I added 2 teaspoons of sugar to the sauce just to cut the acidity a little bit. Then I've taken the spinach out of the pot and I've popped it into a strainer, and I've tried to get most of the water out, which is good. So I'm going to add 500 grams of ricotta cheese to this mixture. It's going to be very cheesy. I've got 2 cloves of garlic that I've cut, chopped. I've got a 1/3 cup of Parmesan cheese, and I've got a cup of fresh mozzarella that I've grated as well. That's good. And then I'm going to add 1 egg. I'm going to add a little bit of nutmeg, just a dash. And I'm going to add some salt and some pepper. Now I'm going to give it a good stir with a wooden spoon because it will be easier. So we're just going to stir that, mix it all together. Oh, I love that color green, so good. Make sure that you incorporate the egg and mix it fully. Oh, looking good. Okay, there we go. That is done. And now we're going to wait for the sauce to be finished, and then we're going to put it all together. So the sauce has been cooking for about 20 minutes, and as you can see, it has thickened. You may need to do it for 30 minutes depending on what kind of tomatoes you use, but that is really good. I've preheated the oven to 180, and now I'm going to start assembling. So we'll start with putting some sauce at the bottom of the dish. It's easier to do. Oops. Okay. It's a bit messy, but that's okay. And now I'm going to assemble the cannelloni. So I've got pre-poured cannelloni, and I've already placed the filling into a piping bag. You can also use a Ziploc bag if you don't have a piping bag. That is totally fine. And so what we're going to do is we're going to pipe the filling in and then pop that into the sauce. Really easy. Looks good. And so we'll do that until we fill all the tubes. So now we have the last tube that we're going to do. So I've used about 12 tubes. And it's all good if it you get some sauce on there, that's all okay. And now we're going to add some extra sauce on. Now I'm going to cover it with the remaining sauce. Just need to make sure it is fully covered. That. Perfect. And now I'm going to bake it in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes until the pasta is cooked, and then I'm going to remove it and we'll sprinkle some cheese on top and put it back into the oven for about 10 minutes. The cannelloni has been in the oven for 35 minutes and baking, and I'll just do a little test. Yep, that is perfect. It's going right through the pasta. So now I've got some mozzarella, fresh mozzarella, which I've sliced into pieces, and I'm going to place that on top. Lots of great cheese. And then I've got the rest of the mozzarella ball that I had that I grated, and I'm just going to pop that on top as well. Perfect. And that is going to go back into the oven at 180 for about 10 to 15 minutes until the cheese is nice and gooey and golden. So this has been in the oven for 20 minutes and it's beautiful and golden, as you can see. And now I'm going to dish it up. Let's have a look. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. And let's have a taste. Oh, lots of cheese. So hopefully you like lots of cheese. Very cheesy. The pasta is really al dente, so it's perfect. And the filling, which is the ricotta, more cheese, and the spinach, just is delicious. So there you have it, ricotta and spinach cannelloni. So thank you for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe. See you next time.